I be sparking and rushing mad like inside the dark. Call me Bill Snatcher, just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that you guys are seeing on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you guys have already read the last Boruto manga chapter and you guys don't care about me talking about spoilers. So I gotta keep it real with you, man. Like, now that we are going into what is inevitably preparation for a time skip with the 5 Kage summit that is about to happen, I think we need to discuss the fact that Naruto might have just outdone himself. So way back in 2018 on Kryptonian Sand, I think it was 2018, is it 2017 or 2018, I said that Naruto made a mistake by allowing Kawaki to come into the village, and one of the things I said at the time is that Naruto was essentially bringing in the person that was going to be a magnet for the Car organization to attack, and it's essentially what happened. However, Naruto, in typical Naruto fashion, he didn't just outdo himself. He greatly outdid himself without even freaking realizing that that's what happened. So, in the last Boruto chapter, one of the things that we find out is that in a very subtle way, Kishimoto writes it into the actual story for Ikimoto to draw that Team 7's been disbanded. Well, I've said for a while that that was probably going to happen. However, what was also sneaked into there is the fact that Boruto was very uncomfortable and that this was a decision that Shikamaru made. Well, here's the thing about that. Shikamaru isn't making a decision like that without Naruto's approval, and I think that this is where the major mistake is. So it's very ironic that Naruto, who is no longer a Jinchuriki to the Nine Tails, one of the things that Naruto resisted against once Danzo became Hokage was the idea that he was going to be confined to the village. As Danzo was appointed Hokage, that was something that was made very clear. Naruto's not going to be allowed to roam outside the village, but more so Danzo, if he got elected Hokage by the Jonin Council, Danzo was going to put his foot down on Naruto. Well, I said in the past that Shikamaru is giving off those vibes of being a new version of Danzo, just not as extreme as Danzo, but somebody more likely to make that cold, calculated decision. And because he actually has a good relationship with Naruto, and Naruto is not going to think that there's some type of underhanded meaning behind this, a hidden meaning, if you will, he's going to take Shikamaru's advice at face value. Well, what do we see here? Shikamaru is behaving much in the same way he did in the Shikamaru Shinden novel, which is he looks at the threat and says this needs to be eliminated, but he doesn't go as far as actually killing the Hokage's son, but instead he has Boruto under constant surveillance. He disbands the entire team, and then he talks Naruto into having Boruto promoted out there as a hero and to yuck it up and to cover up all the Otsutsuki threats in order to essentially make the public be at utter ease. And he's using Boruto as a way to calm down the public. And the reason why that's a mistake is you're isolating Boruto during a time when Boruto does not need to be isolated. I think that this is one of those times where he is clearly freaking out, and it's hard to see that at first until you do a micro dive into his actual character, which is the fact that after he finds out that he stabbed Sasuke's eye, he doesn't dwell on it for a long period right after that, but you see it in his actions that he was putting on a brave face. He was scared to try and use the Karma Seal to teleport them out of that dimension that he teleported Isshiki Otsutsuki to. And it took Kawaki to be able to actually break free of Boruto's fear and to say, hey man, you need to get your stuff in gear for a second. Momoshiki's not going to take over your body. Well, Boruto, he even says, just give me a second. He's still wrestling with that guilt, and now he's returned to the village. He's having to take credit for things while also preventing people from knowing the truth that he's the reason why Sasuke no longer has a Rinnegan. He has to live with the fact that during a battle where his father put everything on the line, he was not able to actually contribute anything of real substance to the fight, and Naruto has now lost a huge chunk of Naruto's chakra reserves that were via the Kyuubi. Naruto has his own natural chakra, but having a monster like the Nine Tails inside of you with those huge monster reserves, Boruto says it himself that Naruto's not going to be as strong as he was before because chakra can be used to augment your speed, strength, and stamina. Well, right now, Boruto's dealing with all of that guilt. And you have him in a situation where while he's dealing with it and he's isolating himself, he's staying on top of the Hokage monument, he's so self-conscious that he has a moment where he wants to wave at these girls that are calling him cute, and he pauses and there's emphasis on his karma seal, which shows you that Boruto is still being burdened with keeping the karma seal top secret. People can't actually know about it. Boruto's in a very uncomfortable situation, and by putting him in this isolated manner right here, I really feel like this is going to, in some kind of way, make him more susceptible to falling under Momoshiki's influence. Right now, the only thing that we know is that if Boruto's chakra levels fall to a certain extent, that Momoshiki can take over. But here's the thing though, Naruto says it himself. There's a lot that we do not know about the karma seal, and I feel like if you isolate Boruto, you start the idea of putting him in a situation like Jigen. So why did I bring up the Jigen comparison? Well, Jigen was a monk. Jigen had no natural attachments to any type of living person or being. Monks are supposed to be people that are in solitude and they give up all of the fleshly temptations that normal people enjoy. Well, in this sense right here, you're forcing Boruto into a similar thing. He's still able to go out and interact with people, but one of the things Boruto enjoys is actually being a ninja. Now he can't do that. Now his teammates can't do that. His friend, his childhood friend in Sarada, potentially even his love interest, depending on where you fall on that, even Sarada is being impacted on a huge way because Boruto is going to know that Sarada's Hokage dream, in order to get recognition for all of her feats and strength and etc., she has to actually go out on missions. Boruto's preventing her from actually reaching her dream, which by extension is also preventing him from being able to reach his dream because he wants to be a Shadow Hokage and he wants to protect the village from the actual shadows. Well, now all of a sudden all that's in jeopardy. And so because you're isolating Boruto from the things that are very core to his actual values as a character, you could open up the door to just as Jigen might have stopped fighting back against Isshiki once Isshiki took over his body and was doing so by getting into his brain. While it's not confirmed, we don't know whether or not you can mentally resist. I would think that just as Boruto, after he got some of the chakra, he was able to actually suppress Momoshiki's consciousness. I think that the karma seal progression is also tied into your mental state as well, because the other thing you have to kind of keep in mind is that chakra has a couple components to it. It has the physical energy and it also has the spiritual energy, and spiritual energy is essentially, one way you could look at it, is also tied into your mental mind state and well-being at this point. Now, so I think that once you start doing this, you're messing with Boruto's chakra, which could make him more susceptible to maybe speeding up the progression of the karma seal. So yeah, I do think that Naruto's making a huge mistake here by isolating Boruto. I think that right now, Naruto as a parent needs to be there to embrace his son and actually help him through this situation right here. And Naruto as a Hokage has to understand, like, I need to keep Boruto off of missions, but maybe I also need to maybe just stick Boruto right there with Sasuke, because if anybody can actually handle Boruto, it's gonna actually be Sasuke. But I think that they need to kind of bend the rules, much in the same way that Tsunade did for Naruto, which is essentially, you need to get Sarada and Mitsuki that same classification that Naruto gives to Konohamaru, which means that they can go on two-man team missions. Only in this case, you just stick them directly with Konohamaru, and that's just a three-man team. You can also bend the rules by promoting Sarada to Chunin, which at that point, maybe you even promote Mitsuki as well. That gives you opportunity to where, yes, they can lead teams, but you do so on the condition that they do not go out on missions unless they're directly under the care of Konohamaru, because obviously Boruto's going to be traveling with Sasuke at some point, or so we would like to think. So I really want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this? Do you agree with me that Naruto's making a mistake here? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.